Welcome back to Radically Rational Radio. In this episode, we're going to look at Biden's tactics for moving our government forward. Make no mistake, we have to pay our bills, but we don't have an infinite amount of money. Yet our president is in Japan at the G7 committing more funds that we don't have. Our president's unwillingness to take any responsibility for this, and through, it is only the Democrats that are saying we have to increase the debt limit. How is it that the party of spending is so fiscally irresponsible? Secretary McCarthy has been trying to solve this for the past 90 days, making a couple of things clear. We are not going to increase our revenue, which means we're not charging Americans anymore. Inflation has hit us hard enough. We don't need additional taxes, no matter what class of people you are. Followed by, we are going to reduce our spending. We have to reduce our spending. For some reason, half of our politicians believe that this is negotiable. We are not allowed to just print money to pay bills and also try to increase taxes. Let's hear about what happened on a recent call between McCarthy and Biden.
Well, following an afternoon phone call with the president, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said that the negotiations are still far apart. On a debt ceiling raise, Speaker McCarthy joined me on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday. And before that call to discuss whether tax hikes will be part of the debt limit deal, the president says, sure, he will be willing to cut spending, but he wants a revenue raise via tax increases as well. Are you going to raise taxes on people?
No, and that's different than what the president said in the Oval Office. He said, I know that's off the table. And I told the president, and February 1st, I sat down with the president, long before Janet Yellen ever told us when the deadline was, that it was going to be way into the summer. And I said, let's be responsible. Let's sit down. Let's negotiate together, and let's put America on a different trajectory. Let's spend less than we spent before. Let's grow this economy, and let's save money where we've wasted.
President Biden says that he will be, quote, blameless if the United States defaults on its debt, claiming MAGA Republicans want to cause a default to damage his re-election chances. Joining me right now is West Virginia Congresswoman, member of the House Ways and Means Committee, Carol Miller.
I think Kevin McCarthy is exactly right with his message, and the United States feels the same way. We've got to stop the spending. And what's occurred over the last 2 years with $10 trillion in spending is just mind-boggling. So it's very, very important that the United States gets their house in order.
I spoke with Missouri Senator Josh Hawley on Sunday Morning Futures about that, and here's what he said.
I could tell his whole policy is to make China rich, America poor, to make us more dependent on the Chinese.
Congressman, the president just seems completely unfazed. Kevin McCarthy, you just heard, says the president wants to borrow from China and keep spending money. Do you think he's aware of the threat of communist China?
It is shocking what his reaction was.
Are there any other ideas that the membership wants to see happen in a debt ceiling raise?
Well, I mean, we have to be the adult in the room. We've got the Limit, Save, and Grow Act, and it spells out very specifically what we need to do. We need to hold the spending, and that's why we're trying to roll it back to the 2022 levels and be responsible. We will be saving money as we move forward, and nobody wants the government in their pocket all the time.
Right, of course. All right, Congressman, we'll be watching these negotiations. Thank you.
What kind of country do we have when our commander-in-chief doesn't take responsibility? I would be blameless because XYZ. If you're in office, you take responsibility. You take it, whether it's your party or the other party. You won. That's what comes with it. I talk to people every day about how this is one of the best opportunities to finally put a stranglehold on our federal government and really start putting actual checks and balances. And unfortunately, I just hear the same sleepwalking talk, and it's a shame because I just hear them regurgitate talking points on how the Republican Party is trying to cut benefits for vets and elderly people. If we actually treat our country like a real thing and no longer allow us to print more money so that way we could spend more, we could actually make change. Everyone, left or right, has some issue with the federal government. If we don't raise the debt limit, we don't have to argue about spending. They won't have any money to spend either way. And the fact that our president wants to call himself blameless while he actively weakens our country every way he can, it kills me inside. I really hope he's ignorant to what he's doing, because if he has any awareness of the actual outcomes that he's creating, then I just don't get how he could do this. For any of you that have kids or pets, if you don't hold them responsible for their mistakes, do they act better or do they act worse? If we have a president that can say and mean it that he's blameless for a childish reason, is that really a president we want, regardless of what team he plays for? I hope you learned something. This is Tristan with Radically Rational Radio. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode. Stay resilient.